Definitely the main issue with gastrointestinal discomfort is actually undigested food or water within our gastrointestinal tract. So this is the problem, but sometimes we get the problems and sometimes we do not get the problems. So we have to find the solutions or scenarios how to minimize this occurrence of these problems. For example, during cycling, we know that the rate of occurrence is lower than the prevalence of gastrointestinal discomfort in running. And this is because in running you have the mechanical stress because of the movement up and down all the time, whereas in cycling you're just going in a straight line, so the stomach is not moving up and down. And this is a really big factor that plays a role. But we cannot do anything about it rather than just change the sport. The other thing we can do is actually change the concentration of carbohydrates in the drink. We can change the type of carbohydrates. So for example, by substituting glucose with maltodextrin, we can actually decrease the concentration of particles in the solution, and this can actually improve the comfort in the stomach. The other big thing that causes problems in many people is having too much carbohydrates with too little water. So for example, energy gels are usually highly concentrated with carbohydrates and there is very little water. By drinking just after having a gel, we can actually improve the discomfort and actually prevent any discomfort in certain scenarios. So it's really essential that we kind of test everything and see what works and what doesn't. And the other important thing that most athletes forget about is also getting ready for having loads of carbohydrates during exercise, during the competitions. So there are numerous cases where athletes only plan to use carbohydrates during the race and have no carbohydrates during their training, right? But as they train, they're getting ready for the race, and they should be training having carbohydrates on board as well. And this approach is called training the gut. So we kind of really want to test the nutritional strategies before the start of the race, the days and the weeks and months leading into the race, and actually discover where the problems are and what the causes of those gastrointestinal issues are, and perhaps by adapting the body to have carbohydrates during exercise, we can actually minimize the risk of getting any troubles during the actual race. So the other thing that is pretty new and it hasn't been used in sports industry as much is also adding fructose to the drink mixtures. So fructose uses a different transporter from the intestine into the blood. So by adding some fructose to maltodextrin mixture, we can actually have more transporters available, so we can get the sugars quicker from the intestine into the bloodstream. So definitely this means also improved gastrointestinal comfort in the long term.